Welcome to Under Center with Kirk Cousins. Mark Rosen back with you as your host. And Kirk, a lot to smile about after Sunday's victory, 34-14 over the Oakland Raiders. I mean, it seems like the Vikings are honing in on a formula which could carry you quite right through the rest of this regular season. Yeah,
I looked at Eric Kendricks and Harrison Smith late in the game on the sideline, and I just said, with the way you guys are playing defense and with the way we're running the football, we're going to have a chance to be in a lot of games and win a lot of games. And that right there is a great formula to start. Play great defense and run the football. And there's going to be moments where we're going to need to drop back and throw it a bunch, and we can do that, and we will do that. But, boy, if we can run the ball the way we have really the first 3 weeks, especially the 2 home games, it feels like a different brand of football than what I'm used to playing in my other years in this league, and I have no complaints with it. I'll be happy to hand the ball off and watch 33 do his thing.
Not just what you have seen, but I think basically around the league. Dalvin Cook's stats speak for themselves. 375 yards rushing, number 1 in the NFL. The next run behind him is under 300 yards. But more from a commitment to the run, which is so unusual, as you mentioned, Kirk, for any team to say this is the way we can win football games. That's kind of really old school stuff.
Well, one of the unique pieces, I noticed how many times in 2nd and 7 or 2nd and longer yardage, or even after penalties, having 1st and 20 or 2nd and long, being able to still stick to the run and get to 3rd and manageable. You'd think if you're in 1st and 20 and you're going to run it twice, you're going to be in 3rd and 14.
Right.
And we don't want to be in that, but there were many times where we had 1st and 20 or 1st and 10, and we're in 3rd and 1. And 3rd down with only 1 yard to go is a much different play call, much different stress on the defense than when you're in 3rd and 7+. So that, I think, was key, being able to still call a run on 2nd and 7, knowing that you're going to get to a very manageable 3rd down. And love the way we just have stuck with it. And it's great to stick with when it's working, and it's been working.
Did you see, as the game progressed, you hit 7 out of 9 play-action attempts for 107 yards. And yeah, that's what Dalvin Cook can do. But did you see things opening up a little bit more as the game wore on? This is kind of your MO. As Cook runs, you can have those opportunities.
I think so. On 1st and 2nd down especially, we're going to be able to run the football and then have our pass game hopefully look like the way we run the football, so that it all marries together, and a defense, from what they're seeing visually, it presents to them the same way. Again, we'll have quick game and we'll have other ways of throwing the ball, but I think your explosives and a lot of your great opportunities do come off the play action, and the key is getting them at the right times, protecting well, and then making the throws. But when you can hit them, it can be pretty hard to stop if you're running the ball well.
When you hit it hard with Adam Thielen on that bootleg left, which opened things up right away.
Yeah, Adam did a great job running across the field. Initially, he got tied up a little bit in man coverage, and he did a great job separating late. And a big key to the play was being able, when I came out of the fake, to have an edge. Many times a defensive lineman will take that away, and now you can't get outside, and you have to dump the ball down to the flat or throw it away. But because I got the edge, I was able to get out clean, set up, survey the field, and then allow for a long developing route to do just that and develop, and brought him across the field. And he did the rest, and I love seeing when our receivers pull away and finish the play with a touchdown, because the defender chasing him does try to ankle bite him, and he could have very easily tripped up at the 3 or 2 yard line, and now you're running your goal line package in, and you're hoping you can pound it in. But to just finish the play there, leave no doubt, don't let him clip your ankles, get in the end zone, that was a great play by Adam.
In both home games, Atlanta and then on Sunday against Oakland, I don't think you've had to throw a pass in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, it's been unique. It's just not the way typical NFL games play out. This league is known for close games that come down to the wire, that you can point to one play that makes all the difference. And our 2 home wins have just been, we got out early. Our defense gave us a play. Our special teams gave us a play that kind of helped us get a head start. And next thing you know, we had a big lead, and we were playing from a position of having a comfortable lead, and then that dictated play calling, that dictated the way we played, and then, like you said, in the fourth quarter, because we kept the pressure on them, we had a commanding lead, and now it was just about, let's let this clock get down to zeros as fast as possible. And the Green Bay game, even in that game, we ran the ball well, but it was a much closer game, and so it had a different feel to it. But it still feels like a really small sample size, because these 3 games have been a little bit atypical. And the more we can get out and play, I think the better we're going to get a feel for who we are and where we really need to get better.
We've had some discussions the last couple of weeks about Irv Smith Jr., your rookie tight end. I'm thinking, well, he's still kind of learning on the fly here a little bit. I think we saw on Sunday a small sample size, but the talent that he has, the speed he has, getting him isolated maybe on a linebacker, and what that can mean to your entire offensive scheme as the season progresses.
Yeah, the one football thing is starting to become a difficult piece. It's a cliche line to say, well, there's only one football to go around. And I've said it before, I've been on teams with really good players, but usually we did spread it around a fair amount. And yet on this team, because you have Irv, because you have Kyle Rudolph, I believe strongly in what Tyler Conklin can do at the tight end position. And then you have Diggsy and Adam. And what we do with Dalvin running the football, it is getting tough to get everyone involved. And it seems like there's going to be somebody at the end of every game who the media is going to ask me, hey, why didn't they get more involved? Or hey, we noticed this person now, like a Tyler Conklin suddenly has a big game. Can you explain that? And so I go into games not knowing who it's going to be, but knowing that it could be any one of those players I named. I mean, even think of Mike Boone, what he did in the preseason, what he did late in the game on Sunday. There's no reason he can't have a big bust-out game with some big runs because we know he's shown it and can do it, but there's only one football, and we got to call the best plays we can with the best people we can and see who that hot hand is each week.
We're going to hear from some of your offensive linemen in a little bit here, but there's one player on this team that doesn't get the recognition that I know, and Ben Lieber talked about it on the radio, C.J. Ham.
Yeah.
He leveled, I think it was on Cook's run, just leveled one of the linemen for the Oakland Raiders. And how important is he to the big picture for what you want to do?
Well, when you have a fullback, because you could get any big guy to just go run into people. So what makes a true NFL fullback is a very versatile athlete, and it's someone who can block, it's someone who can catch, someone who can run the ball if needed, who can pass protect, and it really takes a complete athlete to be able to do that, and that's exactly who C.J. Ham is, and that's why I love his background as a true running back, because he has the athleticism to carry the ball if need be and to do some other things in the pass game, but he also can bring the hammer when it comes to lead block, no pun intended with his last name there. So he's a great player and a great teammate, and one of those guys you're rooting for and want to see have success because of the way he approaches his work day in and day out.
We'll get back to the game in a minute, but there was a moment, we've all stood through, I don't know how many countless national anthems, but it was a special one yesterday.
Yes.
96-year-old World War II veteran Pete Dupree playing the harmonica. I mean, chilling is the only word I can come up with. From your standpoint and your teammate's standpoint on the sidelines, what was that like?
Well, Jake Browning said to me at the end of the game, he said, when that national anthem happened, I said, we just won the game. And I said, I don't know about that. I think we had to go out and play, but I hear what you're saying. It was a special electricity in the air. I think it got our crowd going all the more. The reality is there just aren't as many World War II veterans around anymore. And when I was growing up and read about the greatest generation, those were your grandparents. And, my grandparents have all passed, and you're unfortunately watching that generation pass. And I think much of what our country is and the great things we stand on comes from the fiber of those people and that generation and what they learned in their young years fighting in World War II and what that brought out in them. So to have someone like that there playing the harmonica, giving everything he has to support our country, it was just a confluence of things that stirred something in me. And I thought whoever had the idea to bring him in deserves a raise because that was a great idea.
Talking about performing under pressure, that was
Yes.
extraordinary. And as I thought about my dad who landed at Utah Beach.
Wow.
When I'm watching him, and I got goosebumps as well. So hats off to that young 96-year-old for that national anthem. Listen, I want to break down one particular drive, if we could. I think this is called Under Center with Kirk Cousins, the opening drive of the third quarter after the Vikings defense stopped him 3 and out. And you started in your own 8-yard line. In fact, you had to go back a couple of yards after an illegal block penalty. So the key play to me, first of all, you scrambled up the middle for 6 yards, which
Yes.
was a move that puts you in position again to shorten that third down play.
Yeah, if you watch the film, Adam had a good chance on a deep ball there, and that's a play you really want back. When I came out of the fake, I saw what appeared to be double coverage on Adam, but the safety didn't end up playing over the top. He kind of allowed Adam to get behind him, and then at that point, Adam had a chance at a big play. But I got off of him, looked for Diggsy on the crossing route. They had really doubled him as well, and it wasn't looking good. And so at that point, I didn't feel like I had an outlet. I'm in my own end zone, and I just wanted to climb and get as many yards as I could, and it got us back to a second down and manageable. And And from there, we were able to pound it.
But they always talk about moving the chains. You had a 3rd and 6 from your 12-yard line. This is where John Gruden talked about after the game. We can't get good field position. He was very upset.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't allow them to, that's a big thing. And again, these are the plays that matter. So, a pass in the Thielen in the slot out on the left side and move the chains.
Yeah, it helped to be able to be in 3rd and 6 and not 3rd and 16, because 3rd and 16, that route doesn't move the chains. And Adam did a great job threatening the corner so that the corner couldn't squat on the route. Made an unbelievable catch. The ball was left too far inside. He adjusts to it and shows why he's Adam Thielen. And that was big. At that point, you could feel coming out of the half, are they going to get the momentum back? And we didn't want to punt to them and give them a short field. And to be able to get that conversion, keep our drive going, and if nothing else, be able to change the field position a little bit. I think that 3rd down had a big impact on the momentum of the second half.
You got the ball to your 48-yard line, and then you hit to Irv Smith on a 26-yard pass. And again, seeing something on tape, looking at Irv Smith's progress during practice, that gave you the confidence to go to him in that situation?
It was great to see his separation. When he caught that ball, there's nobody within 5 yards of him, and I think that says something about his athleticism when you can separate like that. And then as a quarterback, it's a lot easier from a stress level standpoint to throw to someone who has nobody around him than to throw to somebody in a crowd. So I love to see the way he sold that route to the inside and then came back out and made a great catch, and those big gains are important.
Endless superlatives when it comes to talking about Dalvin Cook's running style and his ability to make people miss. I don't know how many ankles he broke on a 15-yard run that he had, but from your perspective, it must be fun just to take a look and be a spectator when he's taking off like that.
The theme I'm seeing is the first guy doesn't bring him down, and it's because they don't seem to get a direct hit on him. They seem to clip his feet or his ankles, and he just finds a way of, even sometimes the second guy can't bring him down, and that usually is the mark of a great back, is when it's the third guy that has to actually bring him to the ground. And he is an elite running back. Combining that with an elite scheme, it's a beautiful, beautiful marriage.
And he's getting some breaks on the sidelines because Alexander Madison has an opportunity to do something. And I think his track background helped in that leap into the end zone. But what a weapon he's become, and what a confident young rookie he's become.
Well, I think he's running with great pad level and body lean and the right intentions, and he showed his athleticism on the touchdown run with his ability to leap over the defender. And he's still young. He's a rookie. He's learning. Every week he's picking up something new. But it's great to see him build confidence as he has more and more carries. And you're going to need somebody to spell Dalvin. It's unrealistic to expect Dalvin to carry the ball 30 times a game, especially for 16 games and hopefully more. And so you're going to need a 1-2 punch. You're going to need someone to give him a break, and that's Alex and also Mike Boone. I think both of them can carry that load when they need to.
Well, that drive culminated with that touchdown, made it 28-7, which gave the Vikings a lot of breathing room as the game wore on. You've run the ball 103 times on 168 offensive plays. Can that formula continue to work on the road?
I think it can. I think we played a very good Packer defense in Green Bay, and we were able to run the ball effectively. And I know the Bears are the real deal, and they're going to be able to stop our run from time to time. I think part of it is being patient with it and sticking with it and understanding that in the fourth quarter, a run that didn't hit in the first quarter may suddenly break because you've worn them down over time. And so, week to week, each game is different. Any given Sunday is a phrase you use because you don't know what that week's going to call for. And so we'll have to adjust depending on what the flow of the game looks like and how a defense wants to stop us. But ultimately, I do think that running the football effectively will be a key to our team winning football games, regardless of the opponent, the week. It's becoming who we are.
Stick around. We've got some of your best friends coming in studio next to talk about the victory over Oakland and getting ready for the Bears from the offensive lineman for the Minnesota Vikings. Stay with us here on Under Center with Kirk Cousins. And welcome back to Under Center with Kirk Cousins. And Kirk, we got three guys in studio here with us that are responsible for keeping you healthy and upright and happy on Sundays. I'll let you do the introductions because they're your best friends right now.
That's right. Every week we try to get a guest from the team. And with the way we started the season these first 3 weeks, running the football, protecting the quarterback, I thought, why not just get the entire offensive line in here? Well, unfortunately, Riley Reif was too cool for us.
Oh, boy.
He literally said, I don't have a face for podcasts.
Right.
But we have three of the chosen five. We have Pat Elflein, we have Brian O'Neill, and Garrett Bradbury. Guys, welcome to the show.
Wow, what an honor it is to be on this show with you, Kirk.
Unbelievable. Really happy to be here.
We are thrilled to have you here. I know it's kind of frowned upon to be in the media and self-promoting, and so just so you know, your quarterback asked you to do this. You guys aren't glory hounds. We understand that, and we appreciate you being here. But more importantly, we appreciate what you brought to the table yesterday and these first 3 games. I think we're tied in the NFL for sacks allowed first, and we're also leading the NFL in rushing, I believe. So outstanding start to the year, guys, and obviously that has a lot to do with the 3 of you.
Oh, well, thanks, Kirk. Couldn't do it without you as well. It's a group effort, so takes all 5, takes all 11 on the field.
What did you
Everybody.
notice yesterday in the game? You told me early on, I think it was Friday's practice, you saw me at my locker, and I was kind of sitting going through some things, and you said you could tell something was bothering me, and I just said, I don't know, I just don't feel like I have this nailed down yet. And you said, I think we can get after him.
Yeah, I was like, let's just run the ball every play if we could, as long as it's
You had a
working.
good feeling on Friday afternoon when I was leaving the building, and that made me feel better.
Yeah.
And I kind of thought, I don't know what he sees, but he was right. He got after it from the first play to the last, ran the football.
Yeah.
Even in 4 minutes, when I thought, in 4 minutes, they're going to load up to stop the run, and then next thing you know, it was 2-3 big runs, and we were down in the red zone. Did you guys sense anything? Did you sense anything going against the nose guard? Or
No, when you get in a groove, and start running the ball, start wearing them down. The system, like we talked about earlier, just when you get to that third, fourth quarter and they get more tired and you get energy, you feed off of their tiredness with their hands on their hips. And obviously had a great game from Brian O'Neill here to my left. Actually got a game ball.
Wow.
That's
Really?
right.
Coach, yeah.
Coach Zimmer gave him
Yeah.
a game
Nice,
ball.
Brian.
Yeah, so that was huge.
Where will you display that game ball?
First of all, I appreciate it. Appreciate Coach for doing that. But to be honest, I'm really excited about this game ball because I live with one of our linebackers, Ben Gideon, and we have all of any trophies that he's gotten with the Vikings. He was Special Teamer of the Year 1 year. His Michigan helmet, my Pitt helmet's up there. And there's
Little
about
Wall of Fame.
and there's about 10 game balls on display.
All Ben.
And 9 of them are Ben. And there's only one of mine from last year. So every time we have people come over and they check out the house and whatnot, everybody's like, where are all your balls? I'm like, oh, well, the only one I have is right there at the bottom. So we're going to take one of his down and put one of mine up. So.
I like it.
Well, it's quite an evolution for you guys to see this running game, which is unusual in the National Football League. Maybe all of you could kind of speak to how it started, maybe even back in OTAs to where you are today, and with Gary Kubiak's influence and what it's like to block for Dalvin Cook. I mean, my goodness, this kid is ripping up the NFL right now.
Yeah.
Dalvin's special. We know going into each week that we don't have to give him a lot. Whether it's just a little crease, whether it's a little opening, the first or second guy's not bringing him down. And so we go out each week knowing that if we get that second level extra effort block for him, it can be a 75-yard touchdown. And he tells us every week, no one said we can't score on the first play of the game. And we truly
I like that.
And we truly believe
I hadn't heard that.
We
That's
truly
pretty
believe
good.
that we can with him back there, and if we handle our job up front.
Yeah. He's that special of a player where anytime he touches the football, has a chance to get it in the end zone, which is unbelievable to have a guy like that on your team. We have multiple guys like that in our team. So,
Yeah.
Without getting too technical, from a fan's perspective, how different is it, the blocking schemes, than what we've seen here in the past with Gary Kubiak's influence? And is it more of like an orchestrated? It seems like you guys have to be in concert with each other, and that's what we're seeing. It's just a beautiful thing to watch when it unfolds, and the commitment to the run that you guys have on this team right now.
Yeah, I think in my mind, comparing it to last year, not to live in the past or anything, but there was certain things that we wanted to hit. We wanted to hit a little bit of this. We wanted to do a little bit of that. We kind of tried to touch on a lot of different techniques and schemes and try to be balanced, per se, in terms of how we were running the ball. And this year for us, it's been a lot more streamlined of this is how we're going to do things, and we're going to wear them down by doing what we do and doing what we do well. And obviously there's a lot of things that go into that with different motions and shifts and blah, blah, blah. But sticking to our guns and being able to say, hey, this is who we are and what we're going to hang our hat on is definitely, more present this year than last, in my opinion.
Having an identity helps, knowing what you do well, what you aren't going to major in, and playing to your strengths. It really helps. And I think the first 3 weeks of the season, you learn your identity. I don't know that, 3 weeks ago, to be fair, I didn't think we were going to be number one rushing the football after 3 weeks or number one in sacks allowed, but you learn about your team as you go. And I think now we can start to say, hey, this is going to be what we're going to lean on. This is who we want to be. Dalvin Cook running the football, outside zone. And I couldn't have dreamed up a better identity than just being able to pound the beef, as Pat Elflein likes to say.
I think there was a line in the locker room yesterday. Pat said, "Has anybody seen my beef?" I think it's been all pounded today.
Yeah, we left it all out there in the field, Brian. I'd say so.
Well done.
Yeah, it was a
Now,
good day.
when we were in the hotel Saturday night, we're getting our late night snack meal when meetings ended before heading up to our rooms. And the butterflies are starting as we're getting closer to the game day. And Pat's got a hat on, and I can tell that the hair in the back of underneath his hat in the back is pretty long. But the hair on the sides around the ears is awfully short. And I looked at him, I said, "Pat, did you get a haircut today?" And he said, "Matter of fact, I did." I said, "Did you get a mullet?" And I could tell the hat, he wasn't really ready to show the world, but he said, "You caught me." I did. And so he took off his hat and showed me the mullet. I don't know if you might want to show it right now, but
We'll see
This is radio, but we got this on video as well.
it's a baby mullet, he calls
Yeah.
it.
a young mullet.
It's a
going
young
right
mullet.
here.
It's not there yet, but he's working on it.
Yeah, so
You're going to let it go.
I couldn't be
I'm
more
gonna
proud.
let it go at the moment. It's
Yeah.
going. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
funny he said he's going to let it go at the moment. I've wondered how long he's going to let the mullet
Lack
go
of commitment right there.
I know he has a big day coming up in April next
Yeah,
year.
what's going on in
Yeah,
April?
what's it?
So I don't want to steal his thunder, but he'll let you talk about
I'm
it.
getting married in April, and I don't know if the mullet is invited.
I think
to-
Emily will let you wear it.
She might let me. She likes it. She's all about it right now.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Well, I'm all about it too.
The mullet's back, right? I think the
I
mullet
don't think
is
it ever
back.
left.
It never left.
Yeah.
It's a young mullet at the moment, but it's growing each day, one day at a time. Whoa, look at that mullet.
No, we're taking a look in studio here right now. If you're listening on the radio, it's a little different, but maybe you can catch
That's
it
a mullet.
on our videos, Vikings Entertainment Network. We got Kirk Cousins wearing a mullet, a projected mullet. Guys, what do you think? Is that a winning look? What do you think?
Pat had a great comparison.
Yeah, so I'm a big Joe Dirt fan.
There it is. That's it right there.
That's Kurt Dirt.
Kurt Dirt. K-I-R-T or
Yeah.
U-R-T?
K-I-R-T, and then for the last name,
D-I-R-T.
D-I-R-T.
Dirt.
Don't try to church it up either.
Well, Kirk
pretty
also
good.
started. I think you started the season. At least when I first saw you, you were clean shaven. Now you got the beard going.
Yeah.
But there's some thoughts that perhaps we could go to the Ryan Fitzpatrick beard.
Oh, wow. Well, we're on our way
What do you
there.
think? Is this
That
a
is
look
so
make you
strong.
even meaner looking?
So we were sitting in the cafeteria one evening at the end of a long training camp day, probably a week and a half into training camp, and Adam and Garrett, really with no context, just looked at me and said, "You would look good in a beard. We were just talking about this. You should grow a beard." And I said, "Well, I've had a beard before. I can grow one back." So I did. Well, that was early August, so I'm still going here at the end of September, and I don't really know when to stop. I'm kind of waiting for Garrett and Adam to tell me to shave it, I guess.
Yep.
What do you think, Garrett?
So until I hear,
If we could have that beard with the Kurt Dirt look, we're gonna win a lot of ball games. That's where
now
my
the
mind's
other
at.
point is, while we were sitting in the cafeteria that day, talking about whether I should grow a beard or not, you were pounding a bag of chips.
Speaking of,
And I looked at you and I said, like, what is your deal with these chips? And yeah, just tell the world your fascination with these chips.
you know something. I think a bag of garden salsa a day keeps the doctor away. So I don't know. We just kind of bonded over garden salsa
Garden
chips
salsa
early
sun
in camp.
chips became your thing.
Yeah, and so in camp when you need to replenish all the nutrients when you're practicing and working out,
At the end of the
it
day,
just it's just a little bright spot in your day.
it is a bright spot in a long
So
training
sun
camp day.
chips, garden salsa, 100% whole grain.
Yeah, those are good.
What
good
is your
chips.
caloric intake, you guys, for in the course of a day? I mean, it's trying to keep your weight up and nutritional. I mean, there's all sorts of choices you have here in the cafeteria, healthy choices.
Yeah.
But what's your weakness besides these chips?
Sun chips.
I mean, 210 calories is really good. For whole grain, good quality energy. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't count calories. I just
Eat what you want.
I kind of follow Pat's lead. He just pounds a lot of beef, and so I try
Does he?
and
Yeah.
do what he does. It's worked for
You
him.
guys are
So
steak eaters and
Beef and ice cream usually.
ice cream.
oh man,
Yeah, ice cream.
Yeah, beef, ice cream.
Pat will actually be mad at me if I don't eat a bowl of ice cream the night before a game. He'll,
Seriously?
like ask me
Wow.
every Saturday night if I had ice cream, and if I don't, he's like upset. So I make sure that I get a
your
bowl
ice cream.
and I let him know
You
that
gotta
hey,
get
I'm
it.
eating. But this past Saturday, Garrett made a little like healthy milkshake kind of deal.
I saw that. I
Did
saw
like
that.
ice cream, protein powder, bunch of fruit, bunch of spinach,
It was green. Yeah.
peanut
Chia
butter,
seeds.
Yeah.
chia seeds.
Good
Did great. I
omega-3s.
felt good yesterday, so I might have to
Keep that
with
going.
Garrett's.
What about before, like noon kickoff? What do you just have a regular breakfast? What's kind of is it individual things? Do you have a shake? Do you have a big breakfast? What do you like
Just
to
back to beef and ice cream.
Just hit a 12-ounce porterhouse.
Yeah.
It's 9 a.m.
They have
I mean,
fillets there.
If it ain't broke.
They actually do have filet mignon for breakfast.
well, seriously.
Yeah, the hotel mass produces filet mignon
Yeah.
for breakfast if you
Yeah.
want
Hey,
it.
breakfast of champions. It works.
Mashed beef at the hotel. Usually some eggs, some
Yeah.
potatoes.
I always try to
Oatmeal.
find Brian
Granola.
at breakfast because Brian's my ride to the stadium. So
Really? I didn't know
when
that.
I sit down for
Nice.
breakfast, I just make sure I keep an eye around looking for Brian and usually try to bum a ride off him. The other day I got to ride shotgun. The week before that, the home game before that, I had to ride in the back.
Speaking of, I saw you after the game on
Cheers to that.
Sunday, and you were in a van.
Yes.
Is that your van?
Yeah, that's our family van, the gray van I got for my grandma. That's the one.
What year is that?
It's a 2000, and so it's old.
It's sweet.
It's got about 140,000
That's
miles
like,
on
it's like,
it.
what is Cousins doing in this van?
My wife wants to sell it and then get a 2020 version of
Nice.
it, but I said, well, I mean, I like the 2000 version.
If it ain't broke.
We'll see who
If it ain't
wins.
broke.
Absolutely. Hey, listen, we'll take a break. Come right back with these characters as well. Talk more about the Minnesota Moving Company and getting ready for the Chicago Bears. Stay with us on Under Center with Kirk Cousins. And welcome back to Under Center with Kirk Cousins. Mark Rosen, your host, along with Garrett Bradbury and Brian O'Neill, Pat Elflein, Riley Reef's a no-show. So we've already discussed that. But Garrett, we were talking about Pat getting married next year and whether the mullet will make it. I understand you had a special proposal right here at TCO with your girlfriend up on the Wilf deck. Is that right?
That is
How'd that
correct.
work for you?
Yeah, so it was a pretty busy weekend. It was my first NFL game. I figured proposing to my girlfriend was going to be the most nerve-wracking thing in my life, so it would have made the game Sunday just a breeze. So had about like 35 friends and family fly in, had kind of a huge engagement party, and they were all at my apartment, so kind of had to get away from there to do it. And what better place than TCO?
So did
That's
she
a
wonder?
true Viking.
Did she
Very
wonder what was up
romantic.
when got
So
over here?
yeah, I dragged her over here because she comes with me at night to make I make cold brew for the O-line.
He's a true servant.
Yeah,
Servant.
so
Wow.
Just
Yep.
that's what
Nice.
the guys want. So
Yeah.
come over here, soak some cold brew overnight for about 12 to 24 hours. Obviously, the longer it soaks, the
Better it tastes.
stronger. stronger,
Yeah.
stronger it is.
Yeah.
So brought her over here and did it, and then went back and had a good party, and obviously won the game. So it was a
Sweet.
special weekend.
So jumping back to the game from Sunday, we called a quarterback draw on the 5-yard line. And I knew with my athleticism and speed, or lack thereof, that was a little far out. I'm a little more comfortable from the 2 or the 3, but we call it from the 5. And, the C's parted initially.
Yep.
I didn't really follow the double team that I needed to follow after watching the film. I probably could have saved myself a hit.
Right.
I see the safety one-on-one at the goal line, and I'm thinking, this is what Dalvin Cook has to deal with.
Every play.
And I thought,
time.
I don't really want to slide. I'm in a crowd. Every yard here is precious. So I just tried to lower my shoulder and be a football player. What did you guys think of that play?
I thought you pounded the beef
It
there.
was, yeah,
I thought you were selling out. I saw it in your eyes.
it was
Like,
gritty.
Yeah, it was
Very gritty.
Yeah, I
Blue
loved it.
collar, hand
Anything
the
to
dirt.
earn your respect,
Even
guys.
though you
Yeah.
didn't get in, like the act of you doing that fired me up.
Yeah,
Okay.
Got me fired up.
Well, then we got in, I believe, the next play.
yeah,
yeah,
So it was all part of the
Yeah.
process.
it was worth it.
it was worth it. But yeah, you like to get after it a little bit, Kirk.
I
You
do,
know,
mostly
run
on
the ball.
quarterback sneaks.
Quarterback sneaks.
Occasional man coverage,
Yeah.
I'll take off if nobody's open, and then obviously your red zone quarterback draw.
Right.
We love all the rushing yards.
That's right.
We
They
love
all
it.
count,
Yeah,
right?
it all
They all count. Doesn't matter who does them.
Nope. Nope. So,
Pat, were you concerned they were going to call? There was originally a flag on Cook's touchdown, right?
Yes, there was.
And everyone up in the press box going, "Oh, what happened?" And people were speculating you got called for block behind the back or something, or what was the interpretation? And you looked at it on film.
Yeah.
There was no penalty.
There was no penalty on film. Clean play, clean block. I think they were thinking it was a high-low block between the center and the guard, Garrett and myself. But I thought it was clean, and I think we scored on that play, right?
We did.
You did.
We scored, so yeah, it was a good block.
The refs had a long conversation, decided to pick up the
I was
flag.
there too.
I said, thank goodness, and
talking-
ran to the sideline.
I was in their ear a little bit too. I was like, "Hey man, that's a clean block."
You clearly made a persuasive argument because they picked up the flag.
Right. So they listened to me. They
What's the
must-
deal with the penalties around the league in general? I just feel like not even in our games, I'm watching on TV, and it's just one flag after another, and it's a stoppage and a stoppage.
Yeah.
And it's got to be tough for you guys to try to understand what you can do, what you can't do, what you
Right.
can get away with, what they're trying to emphasize.
You always got to keep your hands inside. I think I saw a stat yesterday that offensive holding penalties were up like 60-some%.
Wow,
from
clearly a
last
point of
year.
emphasis.
Clearly a point of emphasis. So you just really got to lock in on your technique, keep your hands inside. If anything gets questionable, you got to let the guy go.
Yeah.
So you don't want penalties. They'll really kill your drive. They'll take momentum away. So anything to avoid those. So keep your technique tight, hands inside, and don't even give the ref a chance to call it on you. That's what you want to do.
Does Coach Zimmer get more upset about the physical mistakes or the mental mistakes when you break down film and you look at what's happening during the course of a game?
Definitely mental. I mean, we've been stressing, reducing the number of penalties we get just because, part of our deal on offense is we want to stay on schedule. We want to have manageable second and third downs. And, we've put ourselves in a couple first and 20s in the last 3 games. So being able to avoid those and kind of what we say stay on schedule is really important because he gets it. He understands sometimes somebody's going to make a really good play, and that's the nature of the game. But, things that we can avoid, keeping your hands inside, staying on sides, not false starting, is all avoidable.
Kirk, with the Bears coming up, we'll talk more about it coming as the show progresses here. But as you guys go into Chicago and Soldier Field and you're dealing with snap counts and the crowd noise, I think fans are always wondering what's that like and how do you deal with crowd noise now? You're not at US Bank, you're at Soldier Field, and it's pretty loud in there.
Yeah, we'll use our silent snap count in certain situations. It'll still be on my voice in other situations. Third downs at the goal line are really when it's the loudest, and we have to be aware of that. We have to be very good communicating in the huddle. We'll have practice all week. We'll have noise with big speakers to bring noise so that communication is challenging all week long, so we're ready for it on Sunday. But ultimately, we have to stay out of the situations like 3rd and 15 that get the crowd on their feet and try to be the one taking the fight to the opponent so that hopefully we have the momentum and we can kind of keep the crowd at bay and keep them in their seats as opposed to getting to their feet and making a bunch of noise. But that's one of the advantages of playing at home, as you see at our stadium. It becomes a big advantage to be able to have the crowd behind us. But good teams in this league can go on the road and find ways to win, and it'll be a great challenge for us coming up this Sunday.
Get your guys' thoughts about a guy named Khalil Mack. I mean, he's kind of everywhere now with the Bears, and we know what his impact can be. But you got your own assignments, but are you always cognizant of where that man is? We'll start with you, Garrett. I guess you're going to get your first chance to look at him.
Yeah, I think every player in the NFL is a special player, and one thing I've learned just the 3 weeks I've been here is the most important thing that I need to do is focus on me, focus on my technique, my assignment each play, and then you get into individual studies of players, but I think everything starts with ourselves, and I think Brian he blocked Khalil last year, so
Yep.
I think he can probably touch on this a little bit better.
I'll let Brian take it from there. Absolutely. You watch this man on tape and you go, he kind of nonstop motor.
Got to have a plan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You got to know where he is. He's a phenomenal player, has all the tools, smart, athletic, fast, physical, loves the game. He's got it all. There's a reason he's had the success he has. But, you can't let the last name beat you. It's something that Riley's kind of tried to tell me all throughout last year and this whole offseason is, yeah, he's a good player, and I'm very aware of that. Anybody who watches football is aware that Khalil Mack is a great player. But that he wears number 52 for the Bears, you can't change what you do drastically just because everybody says how good he is. Everybody says how good he is because he is good, but he still has to make the plays, and we're still going to be there to try to stop him from doing so.
That's well said. You do have to have a plan, and a lot of that is the coaches, early in the week putting a plan together so that players aren't left on an island blocking other great players. And you really do that every week, looking at the opponent and who their top guys are and how we have to contain them. Last week we said there were a couple guys in their defense we had to block, and our guys got them blocked, and it made a big difference.
Garrett, before you get out of here, I got to ask you about the first play of the game yesterday. What happened with Kirk tripping over your feet? That must have been just a thrill to see that happen.
Yeah, that was a great way to start the game. No, I mean, it's just that was on me. I mean, it just comes down to technique, and I got to have lower pads and a better backside hand and just gain ground my first step. That's
the nose guard jumped to cadence. When he snapped the ball, I felt like the nose guard was getting in the neutral zone quickly, and I could sense we got a problem here. And so right away, the rest of the game, we did some things with the snap count to unsettle them. That same player jumped off sides only a few snaps later.
Right.
And so it was great by our coaches and by our guys to pay attention to those kinds of things so that we can start to win that game within the game when it comes to the snap count and how to have that be a weapon for us and not something the defense can take advantage of. Tuesday is the traditional off day in the NFL. What does an off day look like for you guys? I think it's different for everybody. For me, I'm married with 2 kids. You guys are younger. You don't have kids. So what do your off days look like in the NFL?
I mean, I think what's fun is the whole offensive line comes in and gets a lift on the off day, and we lift together as a unit. That's something that's been done here for a while, it sounds like. And so obviously don't need to, but I think moving around is the best thing for soreness and just staying active. And so it starts with that, and then maybe a meal after with the guys. But then after that, it's getting off your feet, kind of detaching a little bit from football. And then we'll start on Chicago. We'll start on that week's opponent, just watching their last game and stuff like that. But I think the biggest thing is taking kind of a mental break.
What about you guys, Brian? What do you like doing your day off?
I don't know if it's what I like doing, but Tuesday's really the only day where I get something productive done at the house, whether
I'm
it's
the same way.
cleaning the kitchen or doing laundry or picking up my stuff that's been left out, just because I know on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, like there's just no chance that anything's getting done. And, unless Ben does it.
Ben's not going to do it for you. He's not going to
I'm certainly not doing it, no. So Tuesday's the day. We just usually had people in town for the weekend if we had a home game. So just kind of trying to get everything in order so that Wednesday through Sunday, literally all I think about is the game and what goes into it. And so once kind of Wednesday comes around, you're locked in. So whatever you need to get done, it better get done on Monday afternoon or Tuesday.
Yeah, same thing. Like getting in the weight room, getting a lift in. Mainly Tuesdays are a day where, the fiance and I will go get a nice meal. Other than that, we're usually just relaxing. I'm taking care of my body, whatever I got to do to get my body feeling right for Wednesday's practice. But yeah, usually like everyone, just getting off your feet. It's such a physical, mental load that whole week of preparation and then the game. And then sometimes if you're traveling, night games, it's a lot. So that's the day where, you got to take care of your mind, take care of your body, and just relax and then strap it up, get ready to go next day.
Garrett Bradbury, is anything in the National Football League surprised you in your rookie year that maybe you didn't anticipate, the business side of it, or just as these guys are talking about really learning how to take care of your body and in a marathon season like you're about to embark on here?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it's a big change, but I think the biggest thing I've done is just trying to lean on guys like these 2 right here. Brian, who went through the exact same thing last year, rookie year, Pat 2 years ago. And then you have like Riley Reef, Josh Klein, who have been in the league for several years. And so it's just kind of learning what they do, following their lead, following their footsteps, and just kind of put your head down and take it one day at a time.
I don't know that he planned on making cold brew each night for the offensive line to be able to enjoy the following morning. That probably was a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, big surprise.
Well, you guys are all really young. It looks like you got a nucleus here for a long time. How important would that be for you to stick together for years to come in this facility and playing on this football team?
I think cohesiveness on the offensive line is key, and I feel like we're doing a good job of that right now with all the players that are in the room. I think we have a great room, great guys. We get along great. We hang out. We have relationships with each other's families, girlfriends, wives, fiancés, whatever. We're all getting along really well, and I think when you can have a relationship like that with the guys in your room that you're going to battle with, it makes you play harder for one another. Yeah. And I think we've got a good thing going on, not only in our room, but on this team.
If I could add something, they had this big reunion this weekend with the 1969 team 50-year anniversary, and I had a chance to MC the program. And it's interesting to hear your words in hearing those guys talk about the brotherhood that they have. 50 years later, they still talk about specifics with games and outside the arena, outside the games, and how tight a group they are. And that, different time, different era, but an incredible bond. And I think that's sort of the same words that we're hearing from you guys today, which is really important beyond what happens on Sundays.
The game has changed a great deal through the years, but the locker room and the fact that you're going to battle with your buddies, that hasn't changed. And the memories you make, it is such a grind in NFL season, and physically what we're asked to do and the pressures we have on us and our need to perform, that the people you do that with, who are in it with you, it means a great deal to one another, to know you got somebody next to you and you're not going it alone. And so I do hope we can have continuity here and build a nucleus of players that is here year after year, and that we not only have an identity in how we run the football, but we have an identity in who we are as a group and as a team because we've been around together for so long. And that's what you're really trying to build. And the best way to build it is through winning, because when you win, people get to stick around and spend time together, and changes everything.
Well, we want to thank Brian O'Neill and Pat Elflein and Garrett Bradbury for stopping by.
Thank you, guys. Really appreciate you giving us the time.
Yeah, thanks for
Great
having
job.
us.
Had a blast.